Welcome. Morning. Welcome back, everyone. How we doing? World Cup today. If you see me looking right here, it's because I got the World Cup on. Big day. I'm very excited. What countries are you guys supporting out there? Cowboys crushed it yesterday, yeah. What countries are we supporting out there? Of course, for me, USA, but I know we got a lot of people from all around here in the live stream. England and Iran are playing right now. Argentina. The World Cup right now is on FS1, Fox Sports 1. France, Spain and Canada, Mexico, Romania. Wow, I haven't seen that one. Brazil. So we got a little bit of everything. Oh, should be exciting, guys. So, yeah, Italy. Yeah, Italy. I wish. All right. So, good morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the live stream. It is going to be a short week here. We have market closed on Thursday, and we have pretty much a short. I mean, the market closes at 1:00 on Friday, so I'm pretty much calling it a 3-day week. I'm not going to be trading on Friday, right? It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's time for us to enjoy, right? If you're off from work, or maybe if you're off from work, then this is your chance to at least look at the market without work. But that could be a false. You maybe shouldn't be excited about that, because Friday might be a pretty crappy day. Short day, probably very low volume. I can guarantee you there will be no volume on that day. It will be very light, pretty scammy price action, and probably a day to stay away from on Friday. So in my opinion, I think you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You got potentially some good setups to watch out for. But after that, I would call it quits Thursday and Friday. Well, Thursday the market's closed, so you can't do anything. Friday, I would not even try to get involved. Yeah, Giants. Oh, my God. I turned the game off. I turned it off. After, I think it was 5 minutes into the fourth, I just turned it off. What a terrible game. Looked absolutely terrible. So that's that. That's sort of the initial schedule for this week, guys. We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. I'm gonna call it closed. That's my opinion. Thursday's closed. Friday, in my opinion, is closed. It's market open until 1:00. Volume's gonna be really light, and I'm really not interested in getting involved in that. Futures open during the holidays. Enjoy the holidays, man. You don't need to trade every day. Enjoy the holidays. More to life than trading. But yeah, I mean, futures probably will be open on those days. All right, so here we go. let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the stream. And here, let's go ahead and take a look at some things today. Friday was pretty much a non-event. We went down early morning and then just stayed sideways the rest of the day. We held above some key levels, and really nothing major happened on Friday. We'll see if anything major happens today. We'll take a look at the ES and NASDAQ levels, get a good idea of what they did on Friday. Friday, I was out of office. I went to a golf tournament, so I didn't really look at much on Friday. I saw the market did move down a little bit. So we'll take a look at what levels to watch out for today on the NASDAQ and ES. As always, we do the futures analysis. Economic earnings calendar. Not much on the earnings. I mean, I'll pull it up because there is some earnings to watch out for. Nothing that's like major, but I'll go ahead and pull it up real quick. Here it is. Thank you, Breadman, for always posting the earnings calendars in here. So here's the earnings calendar this week. Today, after hours, we have Zoom, which at one time was an interesting stock to watch, but not anymore. Tomorrow after open, Dollar Tree, Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, Baidu. So some interesting ones. You have Nordstrom, and then Wednesday you have John Deere, but that's about it. And then you can see, Thursday and Friday, no earnings reports. All right. On the economic calendar, the biggest thing, which it's interesting to have it this week. Here's the earnings calendar, and we actually have a pretty important Wednesday on the earnings calendar. So you can see today, nothing. Tomorrow, nothing. I mean, it's none scheduled tomorrow. So today and tomorrow are pretty much free of major economic news, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But then on Wednesday, we have durable goods, jobless claims. We have continuing jobless claims. We have manufacturing PMI, services PMI. We have 5-year inflation expectations, and we have new home sales as well. But on top of all that, we have Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking, and we have the FOMC minutes. So we'll get a press release at 2 o'clock. It will not be like your FOMC meeting where Jerome Powell will be speaking at 2:30. This is a little bit different, right? This is your FOMC minutes where you just sort of get the press release of what the Fed discussed on their last meeting. So you'll get that at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. You'll hear probably some remarks from Jerome Powell about the current state of the economy at 1:30 at Brookings Institution. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but I'm sure he'll just speaking there. So the market could sort of react off that. So you have a pretty packed Wednesday on the economic side, which is definitely something to be aware of, right? We got to be careful of that. So 8:30 in the pre-market, you have these four, right? So pre-market, you have jobless claims and durable goods orders, core capital equipment orders. So that's at pre-market. 15 minutes after open, you have manufacturing PMI and services PMI. 30 minutes after open, you have consumer sentiment and 5-year inflation expectations. And then afternoon, you have Jerome Powell speaking and the FOMC minutes. So a pretty packed economic calendar on Wednesday. Let's be aware of that. Make sure you are aware of that if you are trading this week. But today and tomorrow, nothing to really be aware of. Okay. We're going to look at the Tesla. Tesla's down at the weekly lows. It is down at last week's lows, so we want to watch that level. Could potentially play some downside here if it breaks those lows. Dow names. I want to share with you guys some strong outperformers on the Dow. The Dow Jones is actually almost flat this morning. When you have the NASDAQ down 0.6, you have the ES down 0.4. The Dow is down 0.1. So the Dow is outperforming here. We're starting to see that outperformance on the Dow Jones. And you've seen some of those Dow names still perform. You've seen UNH had a great bounce last week. Home Depot had a great move last week. Disney this morning's moving higher off some news. So you have some Dow names to be watching out for, to keep an eye out for. What is Boeing doing this morning? Yeah, I didn't check Boeing, actually. Yeah, Boeing's been holding up pretty well also. So Dow outperformance, something I want to go ahead and share with you guys today and show you some of that movement we saw last week. NVIDIA under 154.50. This was a key breakdown on NVIDIA stock last week, and I want to share with you guys that breakdown. We could definitely potentially see some more downside here if the NASDAQ is weak. Google, big level on Google today. I want to share that with you. Disney. So this morning, Disney had a major gap up. The gap up went right into a rejection level, and this gap up is off of their previous CEO, Iger, I think his name is Bill Iger. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. Is it Iger? I think it's Iger. Bill Iger to return as CEO. That was, sorry, my phone vibrated. That caused a pretty nice gap up here on the market. You guys see this gap up here on Disney? That was this morning because of their previous CEO being reinstated. So, something I want to share with you guys. Does Disney really hold up off that news? That's sort of what I'm thinking. Nvidia swing, I'm not in an Nvidia swing. That is something that I would look at today, right? Is it Bob? Sorry, Bob Iger, not Bill. Mabi. So that's something I'm interested in today. Does Disney really hold up this gap fill, or does it give it back? Or does it really hold up this gap up off of that news? Is that catalyst really going to help Disney hold up a pretty substantial move? Disney's up 10% this morning, so could be something to pay attention to. XLP, last week, the XLP had a lot of strength. You have Walmart, Target coming back nicely, Costco, all of the, I know Target's sort of in the XLY, consumer discretionary. These retail, XLP, consumer staple, consumer discretionary, this whole sector as a whole has found some strength last week. I want to share that with you guys today. XLF, rejection point, want to share that. And then Shopify, $40 rejection once again on Shopify. So that's the schedule I have today. We will go through that. We'll go through some of the tickers that you guys want to look at, and then we will head out of here. So let's get started. If you guys could take a second, press the like button, subscribe if you're enjoying the streams. And let's start on the ES, actually. The ES makes a whole lot more sense to me than the NASDAQ right now. The ES is pretty clean. The NASDAQ's a little bit messy. So here's the ES. And the key thing that I'm watching here on the ES, guys, is the previous high that has temporarily turned into a support, right? Temporarily. I'm not sure whether that's going to hold up, if that's going to maintain. But as of now, right, this level has shown up as a support. And that's really what I'm focused on here, right? This level right here from Wednesday into Thursday held up the market, right? This will be your deciding factor, in my opinion, if we lose this low. If we lose this low, then I think you're seeing downside, right? If we lose this low, then this is lower highs, lower lows. This is a new formed downtrend, right? You can see we created a lower high here on Friday. We had a high here. We had a high here, right? This is a high. This is a high. This is a lower high. If this is your low, right, if you create a new low, then what are you creating, right? You're creating lower highs and lower lows. And that, to me, is a bearish sentiment, right? That is bearish, a bearish flip on this upside move. So that is going to be key to me. This previous rejection point right here, the 100 SMA right there. I mean, it is literally right at the 100 SMA on the ES. If we lose this level, I think it is very easy, right? I think it's very clear, very obvious that there could be a downside move. That level it's not a perfect level, right? It's not like a one level where you're like, okay, that's it. But it is all in this general area, around 39.20. The lows of Thursday were 39.1250. So you could put a line at 39.1250, 39.12.5. You could put your level there because that is the exact low of Thursday. So you could put your level there to watch out for that. It's not going to be like a exact level where things just start, going crazy. But it's this whole zone, this whole previous rejection point, this new support that came in on Thursday. If we break this level, right, that is a lower low and a lower high. So that's really my main watch today. That's my main watch through this entire week. Is the ES able to maintain this uptrend, or are we going to start to see lower highs and lower lows form? Are we going to see this market start to break down? Right, that is my main watch. You can see the uptrend is still in place, right? We can't deny that. This uptrend, this short-term uptrend is still in place. So we have to be open to both directions, right? We still have higher highs and higher lows on the longer-term look. But if we zoom in and we start to try to get a picture of the short-term momentum, all right, we can see we're starting to downtrend. Do we hold this 39.12? Do we try to have another push off this level? This is a break and retest, which is what I talk about a lot on this channel. This definitely is a break and retest, but I'm just a little bit cautious on it because I have seen over the last week, the price action that I've seen over last week was very weak, right? I didn't really see much desire to move up. I did see the demand holds come in, but I did not see the desire for this market to continue higher, right? We didn't really see much buying, much action to the upside to make me think that it is a good time to, get really heavy to the upside here. So we do see the higher lows and on the longer term. We do see the previous rejection point into support on Thursday. We see the hold of the 100 SMA, but my only concern is the heavy action that we've seen over the last week, right? We have seen a very hard time to see more upside here, very strong rejections that have come in. So I think we just need to be patient here. Let's see if we break the 39.12, the Thursday's lows. Let's see if there's any price action desire to the upside here, and see if we hold. Basically, in my opinion, what you can watch here is just between the 200 and the 100 SMA. The market is basically just stuck between those SMAs, right? 200 SMA up at 40.60, 100 SMA down at 39.12. You held the 100 and you're rejecting the 200. You're sitting right in between them. So difficult week, right? Difficult to get a true picture here, but I think you just use this level here, this Thursday low, as your guide. If you are above this level, I would say consider there to be potential upside. If you are below this level, know that you are making lower highs and lower lows, and you are breaking below a pretty major level along with the 100 SMA on the ES. All right? That's what I would watch here on the ES. And, if we break this uptrend, then you guys know the picture, right? If we break this uptrend, then you know the story, right? That's very clear and obvious. If you come back down, you break this low, right? You come here, you look at this and do something like that, then yeah, that's very clear and obvious. All right. So that's ES. That's what I'm watching today. That's what I'm watching this week, basically. All right. So same thing on the NASDAQ. Now, the thing for me is the NASDAQ is not as clean, right? The NASDAQ does not really have as clean of a level, in my opinion, right? You saw where the NASDAQ held. The NASDAQ held 11,528, 11,530 on Friday. It's right around there. Or on Thursday. That's where it held on Thursday. But when I look left and I see okay, where is this? Where did it hold? Well, if I look to the left, what did it hold? It's a general area that held, but it's really not a very clean one, right? You have a previous high in this general area. You have a previous support in this area. You have some previous rejection points in this area around 530, right? It's not very clean. And then you have a support here that came in on Thursday of last week around that same level. So it's a little bit sloppy here, in my opinion, on the NASDAQ. The ES made a whole lot more sense to me, right? When I look at that ES, I can see how clean that is, right? I can see that previous rejection point into support. Very clean little hold there. On the NASDAQ, it's not as clean. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm just going to use the same type of time level, right? The same type of level as the ES. I'm going to use that Thursday low, right? That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Thursday low. So here's the Thursday low. If we zoom in, Thursday low is 11,528.25 right here. 11,528.25. So I'm going to put that on my chart, right? I'm going to keep an eye on that Thursday low. And I just know that if the NASDAQ breaks last week's lows, then that's going to be a bearish momentum, right? That's going to be a bearish technical breakdown. So that's really all I know this level is a little bit sloppy when we go out to the 4 hour. We can see it's a little bit sloppy, right? It held in this general area, but it's not as clean as I would like. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the 15-minute or 30-minute chart, keep an eye on this last week's low. You guys can see right here. Last week's low, 11,528. That's my last week's low. That's something I need to watch out for. Last week's high, 12,100, 12,080, right in this area. And I'm just going to watch this channel, right? Very clear defined channel for now. I'm going to see, does the NASDAQ hold demand here again, right? Do we find another demand bounce off this low? Or does the NASDAQ do something like this? And if it does, right, if the NASDAQ breaks last week's lows, turns it into a rejection point, then there should be absolutely no reason to have any question about the next move, right? If we break below last week's lows, if we show rejections at last week's lows, then it is very clear that the momentum on the market is getting lost and we're moving to the downside, and we can give back up that CPI move. If we continue to find demand here, right? If we hold here, right? If we continue to hold this last week's low, then maybe there's another potential shot as maybe another fake push. Who knows, right? Maybe there's another push up to the channel high and then another push back to the channel low. So I'm just going to watch the channel here, 11,580. I'm sorry, 11,528, 11,530 is this last week's low. And then the 100 SMA and this rejection point is up here around 12,000. That's really what I'm going to watch. All right. Get a good idea of what's happening there. All right. Here's the Dow. And the Dow continued to hold this previous, this level we had marked out, right? We had this level marked out on the Dow. I'm going to go to the 30-minute, actually. I don't know if you guys remember. If you come to the live stream, you would probably remember these levels. But here's the Dow. We had this 33,370 level marked out on the Dow. We talked about the previous high, the previous support low, Sorry, my phone's vibrating and falling off the support. What's going on with Iran? They switching keepers already? Previous support low here at 33,370, right? We had a little bit of a slip here, but quickly got bought back up on Thursday, and then Friday we held it again. So you guys can see the Dow is actually relatively strong. Outperformance, holding demand. You can see it's pushing up a little bit today. Previous high here into support. So I'm going to continue to be a little bit biased to the upside on the Dow Jones. This is why I have a Home Depot swing trade. If you guys are aware, if you're in the Discord, I still hold that Home Depot trade. Very nice trade and continuing pretty nicely as of now. I'm a little bit more bullish on the Dow Jones here. Then we busted it. Oh, shit. I didn't see that. Then the NASDAQ and the ES. So, yeah, 33,370. Big Dow level here. Keep that on watch. And keep an eye on those Dow names, which we will talk about later in today's stream. Here's the Russell. The Russell held on to this previous high. This is actually pretty clean. If I go to the hourly, you guys can see right here. Check that hourly. You can see the hourly of the 1840 level. I don't know if you guys remember that 1840 level we talked about, but we held that. So now the Russell is stuck between 1870 and 1840. It's stuck in this little 30-point range. So watch out for that 30-point range on the Russell, 1840 to 1870. All right, guys, so I hope that gives you a little bit of insight of what's happened here on the NASDAQ. It's not broken down anything major yet. We've seen a little bit of a slowdown in momentum over the last week, right? Since Tuesday of last week, since PPI, we definitely have seen a little bit of a slowdown, right? If I go to the ES, you can see that slowdown over the last few days. Since Tuesday, this is PPI data. We've sort of slipped to the downside, right? We've had a little bit of weakness since that data, but I just want to be cautious here because we are still holding this level. And if we zoom out, right, we don't want to get too stuck in that short term. We don't want to get too stuck in the short term here. If we just look at last week, then we can see the downside is coming in. But if we zoom out to the 4-hour and look at this market since October, we're still maintaining that uptrend. And we are still maintaining this double top here. And we turned it into a nice support on Thursday. So I don't think it's time to get too aggressive to the downside. If you break this level, then I would say, yeah, potentially. I need to see probably this level break here before I can get too aggressive, and that 100 SMA, right? This could very well be something like this, right? This could very well, I know it might piss some people off out there for me saying this, but if this holds this 39.12, this could very well be a little bit of a bull flag to the upside, right? There's nothing stopping that from happening. So you got to be careful of both sides here. There's no conviction to either direction. You're holding the previous highs, which is good, right? The longer-term look is definitely still bullish here. The shorter-term look, though, you have to understand that the momentum has been lost. That's the only thing I would say. If you're bullish here, you have to understand that the downside has been, or the upside has been very weak so far the previous week. We've seen pretty much no desire to move higher, pretty much the entirety of last week after PPI, all right? So just watch out for that. All right. Let's do that. Let's continue. Tesla has been a disaster. Tesla, I would love to know what's going on with Tesla. There's something, I don't know if it's continuation of Elon selling his shares. I don't know if it's a mass exodus of like hedge funds or some big investors, because Tesla has underperformed this market pretty much since all last week. I mean, substantially. So since PPI on Tuesday, Tesla's down 12.5%, and the ES is down, right? I mean, obviously Tesla's going to move more, but if we look at, how the ES has moved versus Tesla, the ES is pretty much flat. I mean, it's down 2%. You can see it's not that much downside on the ES, all things considered, but a very, very weak Tesla. There's Elon, there's Twitter, all this nonsense going on, right? There's a lot of noise on the Tesla stock, it seems, and you can clearly see the effect it's having. Very weak on Tesla, very strong downside, really strong downtrend, right? This downtrend has been rock solid. You can see that downtrend on the 1 hour. You are at the previous week lows, right? This is Thursday of 2 weeks ago. You are sitting right at it today, 175. If Tesla does not find any type of strength here at this previous week low around 175, right? That weekly chart is sort of showing me maybe a potential move down to this little channel, this little consolidation here, and that is around 150, right? That's around 150 right here. This little area, you guys look to the left here on the weekly, you see this entire zone right here. That zone, the high of this little consolidation, little uptrending, ascending, like this little ascending triangle breakout is 150. And that could be where Tesla needs to come back down to, right? If it continues to see this crazy weakness, 150. So that's in the back of my mind. I will be watching this hourly double bottom on the week from previous week around this 175 to see how it performs there. But if that breaks down, guys, watch this for more downside. All right, this could definitely still continue downside. If you see that market weaken, if you see the NASDAQ ES give up this week, then yeah, Tesla should definitely be on your watch. So watch that last week's lows. Could be a very interesting, either it's a little bit of a hold here, right? Maybe it's a little bit of a hold here for a short term. Maybe it bounces back into the channel or into the downtrend. Maybe Tesla does something like this, bounces off this last week's low, maybe starts to show rejections here, and then breaks it, right? That could be very possible. So be careful just trading it into the lows, right? You don't want to be that guy that gets overly aggressive just buying puts at the lows, because that usually does not work out for someone. Let it pop maybe off last week's lows. Look for it to get back into this downtrend, right? The sellers, what I'm saying here is perfectly represented right here, right? Everyone that short sold Tesla here at the lows got crushed over, not long term, but if you're, a short term trader, you got crushed here on this push. Everyone that waited for the downtrend test had a fantastic trade entry. And this was that bear flag we talked about in the Discord right here. That bear flag right there, that was sick. But look for the same thing, right? If you're looking to play Tesla short, look for that little bear flag. Look for that thing to do a little fake pop into the downtrend. Look for that bear flag to form, and then look to sell that thing at the high and get it back down towards the low, right? You want to be looking for those entries that give you good risk to reward. Buying puts at the lows, it could work for you, right? It could very well work for you. You could very well make a lot of money doing it, but I can guarantee you there's going to be one or two times where that thing just is very nasty and just sort of bounces on you. So look for that better entry point. I would look for that test of the downtrend. That would probably be my best entry point to watch. All right, Dow names. Let's start with UNH. UNH has been a very nice mover last week, and the reason for that was this hold of. I'm gonna go to the daily chart actually. So here's UNH daily. I'll go ahead and pop off these SMAs. But you guys can see last week, right? We had a very nice 3-day bounce on UNH. We had a strong move on the Dow Jones and a strong move on its biggest part of the Dow, which is UNH. Nice healthcare move. Previous low around 506, a very nice bounce. All right, let's go over to a stock like Home Depot. Home Depot, if you go to the 30-minute chart, I know it hasn't done much, but it is holding up very nicely here, right? HD has been holding up, consolidating over the last few weeks, even after earnings, and has held up pretty well. All right, another Dow name that's held up pretty well. Quentin, thank you, man. Long time I know you've been a long-time viewer. Thank you for joining the club. Appreciate that, my friend. Hope all is well. Let's go to a stock like Goldman Sachs, right? Goldman Sachs has been holding up pretty well. So these Dow names are outperforming. Really, we just have to look at the Dow versus the ES and NASDAQ. I'm not going to pull up this. You know what? I'll pull it up for you. Let's see. Let's do it real quick. Let's pull up the little comparison chart and just take a look at the Dow versus the ES here. Because this is something I made a video about, and I got a lot of people that hated on me for it, I think. I got a lot of people in the comments, but that's okay. I don't care. Where did I make this video? Because this has been sort of happening for a long time now. I don't even know where the hell it is. It was probably about a couple weeks ago. There it is. The Dow versus the NASDAQ, right? This was 3 weeks ago. I talked about the market divergence that was happening on the futures. And it's still happening. So if we pop this up real quick, let's go to studies, add study, compare with. Let's do custom symbol. Let's go /NQ. /NQ. Look at the difference here. Right? Look at that difference. We'll match these up about the same point. Let's match them up here. All right, we can match them up here. And then look at what's happened here in the short term versus the Dow versus the NASDAQ. This is the NASDAQ. This is the Dow. All right, look at the difference. Look at this push and look at this consolidation on the NASDAQ. So very, very major divergence here, right? Very major. Big push, sideways, right? What stocks are, finding the most strength? Those Dow names. And I'll just pop it up for you so we can all get a good idea. Biggest Dow names. Here's your top 15 biggest Dow names by market cap, and this is how the Dow is weighted, right? The Dow is weighted by market cap. It's what's the right word for it? I know this. I learned this in college. Price weighted. Oh, okay. So there's price weighted and market cap weighted in indices. So the Dow is a price weighted index, right? Price weighted. So that means that the price of the stock matters, right, for how much it is weighted in the Dow, right? The price of the stock matters, which is sort of weird, right? I don't really like that about the Dow. Because even if a stock if a stock does not stock split, right, then it has a bigger weighting in the Dow Jones, which is sort of weird. So here's your biggest Dow names: Apple, Microsoft, UNH, Johnson & Johnson, Visa, Walmart, JP Morgan, Chevron, Procter, Home Depot. There's your top 10, right? And is by the market cap. So you do have some tech names at the top of the Dow there, but UNH, Johnson & Johnson, Visa, Walmart, JP Morgan, Chevron, Procter & Gamble, Home Depot, those are the ones that I feel are more Dow names, right? These Apple and Microsoft, a little bit more tech side, but they are big weighted. So that's that. I just wanted to point that out, guys. Give a good little friendly reminder of what's been going on in this market. It's important to know what is going on in the market, right? It's important to just step back and understand the sort of, what's going on, right? You're seeing a very strong outperformance on the safety, on the Dow names, and you should be paying attention to it, all right? Just wanted to point that out. Nothing crazy. All right, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had a very important, post. Almost a goal for England. NVIDIA had a very important previous level in this general area around this 154.50. You guys can see all of this previous support that came in on NVIDIA around 154.50. Now, let me zoom in and show you what just happened at 154.50. I will show you exactly on the short term. Look at what happened here at that exact level that I have marked out from all the way back. I think that was from... Let me go back. That was all the way back from back in May and June of this year, right? That is from a very long time ago. It's about 6 months ago, 7 months ago. That level, if we look at it this morning, right, or we look at it Friday, look at what happened Friday at this level, 154.50. You can see the rejection that came in right there, 154.50. So, moving into this week, right, what are we watching? We are watching whether NVIDIA can get back above 154.50 or if this level is going to turn into a rejection point once again. So that is your level to watch now on NVIDIA. 154.50, rejection here, rejection here. This is a previous support from 6 months ago that has now turned into a rejection once again. And this was a previous rejection. If we zoom out, this was a previous rejection back in, sort of. I was sort of thinking about this day. Not too clean, but it was a rejection point. It was a previous support that you need to watch out to turn into a rejection. So watch that. That's the first thing that I'm watching on NVIDIA. The next thing that I'm watching on NVIDIA here is, if I go to the hourly chart, the next thing that I'm going to be watching here on NVIDIA is this uptrend, right? You can see we had an uptrend, which was a sustained uptrend, right? This was sustained, and then we had a irrational push, right? This is sort of how the market works, right? If you have a sustained push, a nice uptrend, and then a irrational push to the upside, of course you're going to give it back, right? This is not a sustainable move in any sense. So you got a big push, unsustainable, major upside move. You're going to get a pullback. But when we get that pullback, can we sort of just get back to the uptrend, and can we continue to have that sustained push, right? Can we just get back on track and sustain the push, or England goal, or are we going to pull back and break the uptrend? So that's what I would be watching. 149, right? You can see right here, 149. I would look for the pullback to 149 on NASDAQ or on NVIDIA. You guys can see right here, 149. I'd look for that pullback, and I'd look to see if we can continue this uptrend. Or if it breaks 149, look for the uptrend test. Okay? That's what I would be watching here for NVIDIA. Right? You can see on the 4-hour chart, we had a nice uptrend, very clean, very nice, multiple tests, very sustainable move. Then we got a big irrational push. I would look for us to come back down, test that uptrend once again, and see if that can hold as support. All right? So that's what I'm watching on NVIDIA, this 4-hour uptrend and this 149 level. AMD, similar type of, sort of, it's a little bit too, AMD is a little bit too overextended. I would be looking for a push back down to 68.80, 69 right here. I want to see NVIDIA or AMD come back down to 69, turn this into support, and then maybe try to continue its push to the upside. All right, I want to see that 69 level hold. So that's what I would be looking for AMD. You can see it rejected very nicely here at 77. On top of that, this was also the 100 SMA on AMD right here. So you guys see right there, 100 SMA on AMD, just sort of swooping down, rejection here, very clean rejection on AMD at 77. I think it needs to come back down to 69 right there. That's the level. That's where I want to see it come back down to. Come here, test it, turn it into support, and then look to see if there's a bounce. Google. So I think this is a huge level on Google. I know I've said that about a lot of things, but I think this is very important. You guys can see right here, 97. This is a previous high right here, 97, right? This is a previous little consolidation and previous high here, right? 97, 97. And you have support that came in right here, 97. Support that came in right here, 97. So this is obviously an important level on Google. If you break this level, you're going down, right? You can clearly see that. You break this shelf, you're going down. If you hold this shelf, then maybe there's another demand push. So I would watch Google here at 97. You guys can see we have this little downtrend here on the tops. If we sort of hold 97 again, let's see, we do something like this. What does this look like? This looks like a bull flag to me. But, you know, who knows with the market. But you can either do that, right? Or if you break 97, you turn it into a rejection, then you're starting to give back this CPI move, right? Either way is very possible here. But I would watch 97. It all stems off the 97 level. That's why I bring up these levels, as I say here all the time. I tell you that, you know, I don't bring up these levels to, you know, be bullish or bearish. I bring up these levels because they are major, you know, levels of importance on these stocks. And this is definitely one. 97, 96.50, all in that area. All right. Disney. So Disney gapped up off of the Bob Iger news, him being reinstated as the CEO, and you can see this very major gap up. Now, Disney moved right back to where it was before they reported earnings off this news, right? This was where Disney was, this rejection point at 102, right before they reported earnings. And you can see the reaction. So, my first thought, I'll be honest with you, my first thought when I saw this morning was I'm going to try to fade this thing back to the downside because it just popped right back into a rejection point where it's rejected here, it rejected here, it rejected here, it rejected here. Does this catalyst, if the market's weak, right, if I see downside, if I see intense downside in the market today, if I see intense downside at any time this week, next week, the week after, Disney is not going to be able to maintain this move, right? Disney cannot move up by itself while the NASDAQ and ES or Dow are moving straight down. So if I see weakness on the market, I will definitely be going and taking a look on Disney to see if it rejects this 102 and see if it fills this gap. Now, does that mean it happens today? Absolutely not. So that's something you have to be aware of. But this is a very big gap up. It is right into a rejection point at 102. If this shows weakness, I would definitely be looking for something. So just keep an eye on that, right? Good catalyst on the name. Don't get early, don't be early to it. Don't be ahead of it. But that could definitely be something to watch out for. XLP. So I just wanted to show you guys the strength on the XLP over the last week, right? You guys can see the XLP last few weeks has just sort of been straight up. Really nice uptrending move. Really strong upside on the XLP. Once again, I'll go to the Analyze tab and just share with you guys what's in here. Procter & Gamble, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Costco, Walmart. That's the top 5. So if we go to, let's go Pepsi, right? We can see Pepsi is at all-time highs and holding it. Procter & Gamble has a nice upside move. Costco has had a nice upside move itself. All right, we've seen a little bit of upside on Costco. And then the last one I wanted to point out to you guys was Walmart, because Walmart is pretty big here. I'm going to go to the daily chart, and I'm going to share with you guys sort of what happened here on Walmart. Walmart has officially filled that gap and has continued now. A very strong move on Walmart. Here was the gap fill on Walmart at 146. Yeah, this thing is very strong. So what I would look for here on Walmart is I would look for a pullback to 146. I would even look for maybe a pullback to around 144. But if it pulls back to 146, I would look for a move off this level. I'd look for a little break and retest of this level. Pull back here, hold this as support, and then see if that upside continues. Just wanted to point out, guys, the XLP, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, has been very strong. Here's Walmart. You can see it already pulled back to that 146, didn't it? So it sort of already did what I wanted to see. You can see, look at this pullback right to 146 and a hold off that level. So Walmart, strong move here, strong outperformance. Yeah, I would watch this. Let's go to the XLY. This is consumer discretionary. Not as strong, right? Why would consumer discretionary be not as strong? Because discretionary spending is spending that you only do in a, basically in the economy we're in today, with the inflation we're seeing and the tough consumer spending, etc. Discretionary spending does not happen, right? That's basically what we're in. We're in a staples type of spending, right? Things that you need. Consumer staples is things that a human being needs to survive, basically. Not entirely, but you get the point. Discretionary spending is Lululemon, right? Discretionary spending is buying stuff on Amazon. Discretionary spending is going to buy a new car, right? Going to, just for joy. Things that you don't need, right? And that's why you're seeing discretionary spending not being as hot, right? You can see right there. So you can see it's not as hot. XLY is, Amazon, Tesla, McDonald's, Home Depot, Lowe's, Nike, Starbucks. Starbucks is definitely the definition of discretionary spending. Yeah, when you think if you want to know what discretionary spending is, think of Starbucks. That's like the definition of that. They should change that to the definition. XLY definition, Starbucks spending. Target, all that. So that's that. Just wanted to share that with you guys. You have seen a very strong move on the XLP, that discretionary or that consumer staple spending. XLF. I wanted to share this with you guys. This is the XLF. This is the financial sector. And you can see right here that you have sort of rejected this triple top. We talked about this triple top on the live stream on the XLF. And I said, watch out for the financials if we start to reject this level at 36. And we're starting to see it, right? Goldman Sachs is starting to slow down a little bit. JP Morgan slowing down a little bit. Wells Fargo slowing down. Bank of America slowing down a little bit. So I just want to point this out. It's beginning of the week, right? It's Monday, so I can't give you guys too much on a Monday morning. I just want to put some thoughts in your head. And one of the thoughts that I want to put in your head is a XLF 36 rejection after a huge move off the lows. A 20% move on XLF off the lows. Yeah, England 2-0. Wow. USA is going to have a tough time with them, I think. And I hate to say it, but that's going to be, we got to beat them. I mean, we don't have to. I think 2 of us can get through, but wow, what a goal. Oof. All right. Last thing I want to point out to you guys today is just the, once again, very clear brick wall channel that Shopify has been in and it continues to be in, right? Just want to share with you guys another definition or another look at how you can define a channel on a stock, and Shopify is the definition, right? So Shopify pushed up once again into this 40 wall, and it rejected once again, another great downside play. So just wanted to put that in your heads at the beginning of this week. Shopify might see more downside. If we get more downside on the market, watch out for Shop to continue to reject this 4-hour channel. All right. The only thing I would watch, possibly is the potential for the previous high to create a support, right? You can see this could be a previous high into a support area right up in here, right? You can see these previous highs. Maybe this turns into some type of support and sort of creates a stair-stepping pattern. But when you zoom out, right, you can clearly see the 40 rejection. If you guys ever see Shopify at 40 again, make sure to consider downside, right? You can clearly see it there. All right, let me quickly pop into the ticker form, and then we're going to jump out of here. Let's see what you guys got for me. We got AXP, Netflix, Enphase, BABA, or BA, WWE. Not sure what that is. Is that like WWE, like the wrestling? Costco and PANW. All right, let's get started. Let's do that real quick. So we're going to start with AXP. AXP flagging into 50, previous rejection point. Yeah, I see that. I see that very well. Did they just score again? They did. Yeah, I see that. Whoever put this here, I do like that. Keep an eye on that for sure. All right, you can see right here, 150, 151, previous rejection into support. Keep an eye on that for sure. I like it. That's you're definitely looking at the right thing there. Netflix. Yeah, Netflix, I don't know, guy. I've said this multiple times in the stream. I don't love how Netflix is moving here. Netflix on an intraday is like just a wild child. It's like up big time one time, big downside on other day. It's just a little bit difficult to read on an intraday basis. I would probably look. The only place I'd look comfortable to long this is probably back at 275 at this point. I would want to see a pullback to 275 to go long. So, yeah, I would be careful here. Netflix is a very difficult stock to trade intraday. Very spready and choppy and really quick movements. So cautious there. But I would look for a 275 pullback. That's my personal opinion. Enphase. Enphase is right back at the 320 rejection point. So I'm going to be watching this. You guys know I've been looking to see if, looking for that downside here. So, yeah, just watch that 320 rejection on Enphase. That's something I'm watching. WWE. Hey, I mean, that's a pretty impressive upside trend, right? That's pretty impressive. I mean, what do you do in a trend like this, guys, right? It's pretty obvious. What do you do in a trend like this? You wait for it to pull back, and you buy it off the lows. People that just paid attention to the trend every single time made money, right? Buy here, buy here, buy here. Sell here, sell here, sell here, sell here. Now, what do you do now? As of today, you do nothing. You do nothing. You wait for it to push to here, then you sell it. Then you buy it, then you sell it, then you buy it, then you sell it, then you buy it. That's the same thing that you buy it, you sell it. Maybe you missed this one, sell it here, buy it there, sell it here, buy it there, sell it here, buy it there, right? It's same thing. So, yeah, that's what I would do. Boeing, yeah, 170 hold. Not bad, actually. Look at this 4-hour chart. Look at this. Previous rejection into support right there. So, yeah, watch Boeing 170. Cost at a long-term downtrend on the daily. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that for sure. So, yeah, watch out for that. I would say watch out for the 535 rejection. Right? 535 right here. That's what I would look for. Watch for that rejection if it does. I see what you're looking at. PANW, in my opinion, is just a really this is like the most spready stock out there. Look at the chop. The option contracts are, in my opinion, not great. So I'm going to stay away from that one. Microsoft to end the stream, 240 rejection, guys. Same thing I've been saying the entire time. 240 rejection. All right, or I'm sorry, 250 rejection, my bad. You can see the 250 rejection, just all these supports, all these rejections, right? Very strong rejection point up here at 250. I would not go long Microsoft until it breaks 250. All right, it's sort of stuck here. I don't like any upside until it's above 250. All right, you can clearly see the rejections that have come in here. If you just zoom out, right, the risk to reward of going long here into this heavy level is just not there. So watch out for that. All right, guys, that's all I got. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you guys want to trade live with us today, make sure to join down below. It says trade live with me. If you want to get technical analysis on a daily basis, it's down below as well. It says free technicals. Hope you guys have a fantastic trading day. Remember that we have a short week, so I'll be here on the live stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm not going to be here Thursday, and I probably won't be here Friday either. I mean, maybe I'll pop in short term on Friday, but I'm not going to be trying to influence anyone to trade. I don't believe in trading on Friday. I think it's a short day. It's a day you should go out and enjoy yourself. It's a day that you should take a break from the market. There's not going to be crazy moves. There's no reason to be pushing it, right? You have to find a reason to disconnect, relax your mind, preserve your brain, preserve your mental capacity. Friday's not the day. So maybe I'll jump in here a little bit on Friday, but I'm not going to be trying to influence anyone to trade on Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have a nice long vacation. Thursday, Friday, we should all be enjoying ourselves. It's getting to that time of the year where it's the end of the year. We should all have, positive feelings, enjoy with our family, enjoy our friends, enjoy the time. This is my favorite time of the year, and this is really when I love this time of the year. So November, December is Christmas, my birthday, Thanksgiving. It's a great time of the year. So let's make it a good one. Thank you guys for being here. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.